awareness month that we are advocating for mental health. Aspects that we are looking at include maternal mental health, drug use, workplace mental health, among others. So this evening, we are here to discuss maternal mental health. And we have our guest with us. Let me start by reading out their profiles. But let me first find out if they are with us. Madam Linda, please, are you with us? Kindly unmute and let's hear your voice.
Good evening. Please, I'm with you.
Great.
Good evening.
Thank you very much. Madam Sabina, please, can we hear you?
Yes, hello, everyone. I'm here with you all.
Right, good. All right, so this evening, these two great personalities are going to do us the honors by helping us understand the topic, mental health, before, during, and after the maternity ward. Madam Linda Nyamekye Oboh is a registered mental health nurse, a member of the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives. She is a child and adolescent mental health nurse specialist. She has been working as a registered mental health nurse for past 11 years. That's great. And she managed the psychological medicine department and a member of the neuro and childhood cancer team of the Oboh Teaching Hospital. So this evening, Madam Linda, thank you for joining us. We also have Madam Sabina Fremah Ansah. She is a counseling psychologist with the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital. She is equally a health educator at the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital. This evening, ladies, we are glad to have you. So without wasting much time, I would like to ask that what are your general impressions about this topic and why do you think it's relevant to talk about it? Let me start with you, Madam Sabina.
Okay, thank you. It's raining here, so I think when you are speaking, kindly raise your voice up a bit. It's raining heavily at my end here.
All right.
But I believe I can be heard anyway.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good evening to everyone. Thank you for the question. Thank you for putting this together. My general impression about this topic is that while physical health receives most of our attention, a woman's emotional and psychological well-being across the perinatal period is equally critical. You know, from pregnancy anxiety to antenatal depression and postpartum disorders, many women experience emotional shifts that can significantly affect both the mother and the baby. But then it's unfortunate that stigma, lack of awareness, and lack of access to mental health services often leave these issues undiagnosed and untreated. So it's very important and relevant to talk about this because, you know, depression and anxiety are the leading, they can lead to serious consequences, including even suicide. And we all know suicide is a leading cause of maternal mortality in most countries now. So I think a mother's mental health directly impacts how she bonds and cares for the child, affecting long-term development. And therefore, this topic is very relevant because conversations around this topic helps to normalize the experience and also encourage women to seek help. And then lastly, I think that when mental health is part of the conversations, families, partners, and even health workers are better placed or equipped to offer meaningful support. So this is my submission. I believe that it is very relevant to talk about this topic, and this is the right time. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Madam Linda, what's your take on this topic?
Thank you very much this evening for this opportunity. For me, I think maternal and mental health are brothers and sisters. They are siblings from the same mother and the same father. Because if a pregnant woman is mentally stable, the outcome of the pregnancy is good. Let me put it that way. It's the same way if a pregnant woman is mentally unstable, it affects the outcome of the pregnancy. We all know that mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, and all that they are contributing factors to most of our physical conditions like hypertension and diabetes and all that. So it is very important to talk about this because little is talked about or known about maternal mental health. Nobody talks about it, especially with our teenagers. When we see them, we judge them, we look at them in some way without even thinking about what they are going through. So it is very important we talk about it because bridging the gap will save a lot of women. Yeah, bridging the gap between maternal and mental health will save a lot of women. So I think the campaign should be loud. It should be louder than this. We should really campaign for it so that a lot of people will get to know about the psychosocial or the emotional aspect of pregnancy, and not only the physical one we see when we see pregnant women. Hey, you are looking beautiful. Oh, hey, this one there is twins. So we say those things and then move away without thinking about the emotional aspect. So I think the campaign should be loud. It should go far and wide so that everybody will get to know about the emotional aspect of pregnancy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So let's move directly into the conversations now. So I want to find out, Sabina, you mentioned some of the common mental health issues that do appear during either during the time the pregnancy is on.
Can you raise your voice up a bit, Mr. Jones?
Yeah, so I was talking about, you mentioned earlier about some common mental health issues that do come up when a woman is pregnant. So I want to find out if you can throw more light on some of those common mental health issues that come out preconception period, that's before, during, and then after delivery. The common issues that we can be looking out for.
Okay, so thank you once again. Like my sister rightly said, it looks like we just look at the physical aspect of pregnancy without really paying attention to the emotional or the psychosocial aspect of what women experience. But the very common concerns when it comes to expectant mothers is depression. And then again, based on our topic, we are trying to look at what happens to them even before they conceive, and then when they conceive, and then when they deliver. Depression has become a major concern because if not resolved, pregnancy could worsen it. Okay, so usually it is important that women with history of depression get solutions or get support before even planning the pregnancy in the first place, because preconception depression can affect women in so many ways, such as self-care, even decision-making, and even your emotional readiness for pregnancy. Typical again is, anxiety. We are all aware of anxiety. When a woman gets pregnant, there's a lot going on. And mostly there's this excessive worrying about the health of the baby, how the delivery is going to be, and all that. Also, you notice that most women don't get resolved over certain grief or losses they experience. I realize that women who go through miscarriage, stillbirth, or maybe probably loss of someone affects their emotional readiness for another pregnancy, mainly because they don't get support for those or therapy for those concerns. So it's important to have such, these kinds of conversations to engage, screen, and even psychoeducate women in general early on, even before they make the conception decisions. So before part of our engagement this evening is actually very, very important because we tend to overlook it. Many women will experience hope, some will experience fear, excitement, and sometimes even ambivalence, But then you realize that these worrying go to the stage where they even worry about the fact that their identity will be changed and all that. So before a woman, gets pregnant, or if a woman gets pregnant, the early on stages involves a lot of psychological and emotional, turmoil that the person goes through or experience. I have a lot to talk about this, but then I would like my colleague to come in and I'll come back to add on to what I've shared so far. Thank you very much.
All right, Madam Linda, the baton has been thrown to you to add on to the common issues that affect our pregnant women. If you have any other to add to that.
Hello.
Yep, Madam Linda, please, are you with us? I think she dropped, probably the network. Yeah, so maybe if you can continue.
Mr. Jones.
Okay, yes, we were
Mr.
asking
Jones,
for your addition to what Madam Sabina said.
Hello, Mr. Jones.
Maybe she wasn't on when I was asking. So, hello?
All right, so please, you can continue.
Okay. So I was sharing some common mental health conditions that may arise, let's say, before the maternity ward. That is the preconception or the pregnancy stage, There's this
Hello, Mr. Jones.
that I want to talk about.
My network dropped. Please, can you repeat your question?
Okay, yes, so I won't come back. We were asking you if you have any other common causes, common conditions that usually affect pregnant women, especially even before they get pregnant, during the pregnancy and after pregnancy. Madam Sabina mentioned depression, which usually affect them. So if you have any...
Yes, just like Madam Sabina said, in our part of the world, please, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So just like Madam Sabina said, depression and anxiety and then sometimes psychosis conditions just go through. You know, part of our world, let me say 90% of women, we don't plan our pregnancies. We don't plan it. If you ask me, none of my pregnancies did I plan. I didn't plan any of them. So you just be there and then boom, you are pregnant. Hey, how am I going to navigate all this? What am I going to do? So the anxiety there, it is always there because we don't plan and we don't put things in place. The depression and then sometimes the psychosis. Some women also become suicidal. So these are, I think I agree with what Madam Sabina has said. Rarely do some women have psychosis, but with the depression and anxiety, they are very common. And then the suicidal ideation. Yeah.
Okay, but how common do these things show up when how common are they? Is it something that every woman is supposed to go through? Madam Linda.
Okay, Jones. Let me
Yes.
add this before we move to that. So I was making
Thank you very much. So, yeah.
Madam Linda, please, you can continue.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So talking about how common it happens and whether every woman goes through it, we have something we call baby blues. And with baby blues comes with a little crying, some moodiness, but this doesn't last for long. And this is something almost every woman goes through after birth. And it is due to hormonal changes. You know, when you get pregnant, some hormones get into play, like the progesterone, the oxytocin, and then the estrogen. Yeah. So after birth, there is a drop in these hormones. After birth, there's a drop in these pregnancy hormones. So this leads to some women experiencing the baby blues, like a little while you'll be sad, moody, a little crying spells and all that. But this doesn't last for long. This doesn't last for long. Most women go through it and it just fades away. It just fades away normally on its own without the woman seeking for help or any other thing. Yeah, but talking about the postpartum depression, that is what happens within the first 1 year, anytime in the first 12 months of the mother's life. And this one, it happens and, you know, because of stigma and because majority of us who don't know what it is, people don't normally come to hospital with this. They don't normally, unless it becomes so severe that the relatives are not able to handle it. So mostly you see these women crying and all that, and they will say, oh, you have just given birth, you are not supposed to cry. It is not good for you to do that and blah, blah, blah. But nobody asks the woman, what are you going through, or how do you feel, or what could probably be the cause of what you are going through. So yes, a lot of women faces it. Research or surveys have suggested 1 in 5 women experiencing postpartum depression. 1 in 5 women experiencing postpartum depression. So this shows that, yes, a lot of, and this year alone, we've recorded not less than 10 cases from our maternity ward here.
That was the whole teaching hospital, right? We seems to lost you. All right, so let's move on. And Sabina, you wanted to add something before. Can you?
Yeah, I was looking at
Mr. John, sorry, my line dropped.
Yes, but we'll come back to you. So Madam Sabina is making a presentation now. So let's hear her.
Madam Sabina, please.
I was looking at how our topic was couched so that we help our audience have a better understanding. So I was looking at the during the
during,
the
and after.
before, the during, and the after. But it seems my colleague has gone to the after already. So then,
Oh,
yeah, I thought we were moving chronologically, so our audience will have a better understanding of what we are
okay,
talking about. But it's okay.
okay. Because my
So
line is dropping, so
yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So I was actually talking about the before. I didn't finish though, but let's do
Yes. So please, so let's continue with it then.
maternity. Pardon?
Yeah, so let's continue from there.
Yeah. Okay. So usually, you know, before the woman conceives, I mentioned a few things that they do experience. And then I was trying to make a statement that will help us get a better understanding that maternal mental health is shaped by personal history, pregnancy intentions, relationship stability, and cultural expectations. Okay. So for personal history, realize that sometimes past experiences with mental health, maybe childhood trauma, how even the lady was parented or treated and all that. And sometimes there could be some unhealed emotional, wounds somewhere. And these things may resurface during pregnancy, especially when there was no treatment, making it very hard for the woman to cope. Again, pregnancy intentions. There are questions to be asked. Did the lady or the girl plan, or does the person even want the pregnancy? Was it a surprise, or even it's an unwanted pregnancy entirely? Or has the woman or girl been pushed or pressured into it? You know, a woman who feels emotionally ready and chooses the pregnancy copes better than someone who feels unprepared and, unsupported. So these things kind of come together to influence or impact the maternal health of the expectant mother. Okay. And then I mentioned relationship stability. I mean, the health of her relationship with the baby's father or her partner is also a factor, whether she feels supported, respected, or safe. I mean, it's also obvious that supportive relationships sometimes, in fact, it actually protects maternal health compared to, conflicts, abandonments, and, abuse, which increases the risk of depression or anxiety in the pregnant woman. And then cultural expectations, beliefs about how a good mother should feel or behave also have an impact. You have to be strong, be silent about your pain, because if you talk about your pain as a woman, it doesn't really qualify you as a real mother. Those kind of stuff. And there's stigma around mental health also. This also impedes seeking help. And if a woman feels she can't express her struggle without being judged, then she may suppress her feelings, and this may worsen her mental health condition. So the before the maternity is very critical, just as the during and then the after. Some women, even find it difficult to even conceive in the first place because of excessive worry. And all these things are mental health challenges that exhibit itself before the maternity ward, or before conception, or even when you are pregnant. Okay. Again, a woman's mental health in pregnancy and motherhood does not depend only on hormones, just as we all know, or it's been said all over the place. But rather, the mental health of the pregnant woman is shaped by her story. Sometimes the life story, that's the history I spoke about. the support she receives, and how she feels about the pregnancy, and also even the culture that she lives in. All these factors come together to influence or impact the mental health of the woman that is getting herself ready to get to conceive, or fortunately had already conceived but at the early stages. Okay. So these are some of the things that we can look out for. We will come back to see how the interventions we can put in place to support such people. Again, and when we talk about during the maternity, here for me, I am looking at it from this angle, the labor or the delivery stage. You know, all these stages have their own mental health challenges. And I am glad to bring these things out for our audience to have clarity and see how best it can be resolved should any of us experience them. The maternity ward experience can be physically intense. If you ask any woman who has gone there, it can be very traumatic and psychologically vulnerable, especially when women feel unseen and unheard. One time I had a client who said, I felt like, and I'm quoting directly what she said, I felt like a body being moved around, not a person giving birth. I was like, wow. Because at the maternity ward, women feel so exposed, disempowered, and fearful, especially if, the birth doesn't go as planned. The birth prolongs or gets complicated. So these are some of the mental health challenges mothers go through during birth. And typical concerns is birth trauma. Birth trauma in the sense that you walk the maternity and then suddenly you hear, oh, she needs an emergency C-section. No preparation at all. You just hear it, and then sometimes during the birthing process, some women lose control, and that can lead to this, acute stress responses and all. At times, there's this fear of death, either the death of the mother herself or the death of the baby. Who cares? Who listens? Who pays attention? At times you see there's this dissociation or detachment. Some women actually shut down, especially when there's so much pain and scary experiences. Or someone will ask, why does all these things happen? Sometimes just lack of emotional preparation for childbirth. So I don't know how we are going to advocate for this. And I believe now that we have a lot of mental health nurses around, I believe they are going to inculcate this in their daily routine and their daily psychoeducation. Cultural taboos, around expressing how you feel. You cannot express your pain if you really want to be a woman. You have to bear it. You have to enjoy it. So these challenges are eating our women up, and they are not coming out to talk about them because of, as usual, stigma and probably ignorance. You see. Well, now I want us to now go to the third part of our discussion, which my sister had already started talking about. That is after the maternity ward, the postpartum period. That is after the baby has come out. This is often the most emotionally unpredicted phase of the mother's life. Some mothers feel joy and bonding, but others experience isolation, exhaustion, and even sometimes, identity loss. And someone might ask, why does this happen? So my sister mentioned, the concerns here are, let me rather put it this way, the common things that we often hear professionals talk about is baby blues, postpartum depression. Indeed, these are mental health concerns that affect women postpartum. But then there is also postpartum anxiety. You see, likewise, postpartum psychosis. And then societal expectations. For baby blues, my sister had already started, but I want to add a few things to it to make it clear to our audience the difference between baby blues postpartum. Because most people will talk about baby blues as if it's just one of those things. But this is sudden and it's very short term, just like my sister said. But then it affects up to like 80% of new mothers, which is serious. It usually begins within the first 2 to 3 days after birth. And again, my colleague mentioned that it usually resolves without any treatment. Okay. But the fact that it resolves without any treatment does not mean that psychological support is not required. It is important that when a woman is experiencing baby blues, probably something the woman herself does not even understand, psychoeducation about what baby blue is will help. Normalizing how she's feeling or validating her emotions is also very important. We'll get there. Again, when it comes to baby blues, similar symptoms include mood swings, as we mentioned, tearfulness, irritability, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, having trouble sleeping, and all that. But one thing I'd like to share is that what is the science behind this? Usually, after childbirth, like my colleague mentioned, I'm repeating this because I am very passionate about this part and I want our audience to really understand it. Estrogen, progesterone levels drop, and it's dramatically. It drops dramatically. In fact, within the first 24 to 72 hours, it drops. And these hormones actually regulate moods and emotional stability. So, their sudden drop can actually trigger mood swings and these tearfulness and irritability. Additionally, the bonding hormone, that's the oxytocin, and then the other hormone responsible for breastfeeding tend to rise, and these hormones also have some influence on the mother's emotions. So you see what is happening in one person, the brain has to adapt rapidly to these changes. There's a rise in hormones, there's a fall in another hormone. So all these juggling of hormones, a colleague of mine will say, causes emotional earthquake in the woman. Do you understand? It causes emotional earthquake in the woman. And in fact, the sudden shifts, stress of new motherhood and all that affects the mental health of our mother. And it's as a result, and that is the cause of the baby blues that we experience. So it is important to know that baby blues are common and usually resolves within 2 weeks, like we have all said. But then psychological support, I mentioned it, is still very helpful, especially to comfort the woman, normalize the experience, prevent escalation into postpartum depression. Because we cannot have postpartum depression if baby blues are well managed. We cannot, our women, our mothers will not escalate to postpartum which is very, very important. And if we pay attention to this, we would, we'll be doing a lot of preventive measures for our mothers. Now let's look at the postpartum depression also. For postpartum depression, it's a mood disorder, and this one is more intense and it's long lasting than baby blues, okay? And then for this one, it does affect roughly like 10 to 20% of mothers. Yes, it can begin usually anytime within the first year after birth. It's not immediate like the baby blue. But this one requires treatment. Yes, it requires treatment. And if the treatment is not given, it may last for months. It may last for months. Similar, symptoms, though, there's persistent sadness or emptiness, loss of interest. Remember, it's a form of depression. So there's a loss of interest in things that we once enjoyed. Difficulty bonding with your baby, having given birth and you cannot bond with your baby. Thought of hopelessness. Sometimes there's even this feeling of self-harming yourself. You feel like harming yourself, or at times you even feel like harming the baby. At times you see changes in your appetite and in your sleep. It is either you are eating too much or too less. Or it is either you are sleeping too much or you are sleeping less. And all these will affect your mental health because the hormones aren't being regulated well. If you eat well, it regulates your sugar levels and therefore you will not be irritated easily. Well, that's one key thing we should know. And then if you sleep very well, it regulates the release of cortisol in your blood. And that will, prevent stress and all that. So scientifically, I don't know if I'm talking too much. Scientifically, baby blues are, the brain's temporal reaction to a hormonal disruption. Like I said, a friend called it earthquake after childbirth. But when the storm doesn't settle and the mother continues to feel down, anxious, sometimes feel disconnected and all that, then it means that the mother might be dealing with something else. So to run up on this particular aspect, it's like baby blue is like a call. Yes, baby blue is like a call to action. Baby blue is like, I need help. Yes, I need support. And if this support isn't received, you see that these mild symptoms will then evolve into full-blown depression. And that is a very severe mental health challenge our mothers can experience. So in a nutshell, I think we have juggled through the before, the during, and then the after. And I believe that I have been able to give some clarity to our audience on how.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. And we really appreciate this depth knowledge you've shared with us. Mental health before, during, and after the maternity ward. Madam Linda, I want to ask you this very question. How can stress during pregnancy impact both the mother and the fetal heart? And what strategies can be employed to mitigate some of these stresses?
Thank you, Mr. Jones. So, stress is a common word we always say. Everybody will say, I'm stressed up, I'm stressed up. But what is stress? It's a normal phenomenon. Stress is something God has, like how it helps us to react to issues quickly, to take immediate actions. Overwhelming situation, when we find ourselves in those situations, it helps us a lot. And pregnancy, I would describe it as an overwhelming situation because every stage and what you experience, every minute, every hour, and what comes about. So there's always anxiety, there's always fear, what is going to happen, and all that. The changes it puts in us, changes both physically and mentally, it all puts stress. It all exposes us to the stress we go through during pregnancy. And when we go through it, it doesn't only affect the mothers, but it affects the fetus as well. So for the mothers, this stress can cause fatigue, because sometimes combining pregnancy with work, with taking care of other children, with taking care of your husband, having to do, maybe you're in school, you have assignments and all that. So this causes a lot of stress when it comes to pregnancy, and you have to combine it with all these things. Your heart rate increases, your liver produces more glucose because it has to give you energy, your immunity goes down. So it causes a whole lot in the mothers. And there's fatigue, there's shortness of breath, there's trouble sleeping because you become anxious. The hormones secreted always makes you alert, because hey, I have to meet this deadline, I have to submit this, I have to do that. And it also causes changes in appetite, because you are so stressed up, you are thinking about the mental health. People will say racing thoughts, this one comes and goes. Sometimes you even forget to eat. As pregnant women, sometimes you fall on junk food, you fall on sweets and other things. So that's how it affects the mothers. It affects them in a way that it can lead to preeclampsia. It can lead to hypertension in pregnancy, because when you are stressed up, your heart rate increases. It has to pump more blood to the system. So in regards to that, the mother is exposed to or predisposed to hypertension in pregnancy, which can lead to preeclampsia. It can lead to gestational diabetes mellitus, because your liver is also producing more glucose to give you energy. And when it becomes too much, or it becomes excess in you, your body cannot metabolize everything. So before you realize, your sugar also starts going shooting. Your immune system goes down, which makes the pregnant woman susceptible to a lot of infections. So it can also lead to preterm delivery. Yeah, it can lead, because the hormones, the cortisol, the CHR hormone, it all leads to, it affects the uterus. So it can also lead to preterm labor. It can lead to low birth weight, in the sense that your eating habit changes. So you are not able to meet your nutritional needs. So it can also lead to low birth weight. It can. So that's for the mother. With the fetus, it affects the developing brain, especially during the first trimester. When you are stressed out, your body releases excess cortisol, and this cortisol is a stress hormone. This cortisol is able to break placenta barrier and it alters the developing brain of the child, of the fetus in utero, of the fetus or the baby in the womb. Let me put it that way, of the baby in the womb. So baby comes out, and in later life, having cognitive deficits, mood dysregulations, social-emotional problems, and all that. So stress affects us greatly, and it has so much impact on us as the mothers, and then on the babies. It endangers the lives of the mothers. Yeah, I always say that if we are able to attend to the stress needs, as in the needs of the mothers psychosocially, a lot of these physical conditions or pregnancy-related conditions, a lot of them would have been controlled, because stress is a contributing factor. Let me share a personal experience. When I was pregnant, I had to combine school, the pregnancy, my children were in Ho, I was in Accra. Today they will call me this, tomorrow that, a whole lot. I became so stressed out, so much stressed out, that I always walk in front of Rich, the antenatal, but I was so much stressed out that for 3 months, I was not going for antenatal because I had a lot in mind. I wasn't going, I wasn't taking my medications. I came home, it was only God that saved me. One night, I bathed one of my children, went to the bedroom, and that was all. I just started vomiting. I just started going down. My neighbors had to come in, rush me to the hospital. And apparently I had developed gestational diabetes, which I didn't even know. Because I was so much stressed up, a whole lot in mind, and I didn't even know who to talk to. I remember trying to share what I was going through with a colleague, and the person said, you a psychiatric nurse too, is it not you that we will refer such cases to? So why are you saying you are this or you are that? So when the person said that, I just swallowed it. I just kept quiet. And I said, oh, okay, then let me just keep it to myself. So stress affects us greatly. So I think the best way to help women, because for the stress, we cannot go away with it. Even waking up from bed is stressful. As a pregnant woman, you have to turn some way, even sleeping position causes stress to us because there is discomfort. Having to sleep on your left side, it's so much discomfort, but you have no choice. They said that is how you should sleep, especially when you are lying down like that and you have muscle pull. Then there's your head wants to scatter. Yeah, so the stress there, stress and pregnancy is 5 and 6. We can't do away with it, but at least when we listen to our mothers, we can guide them, or sometimes somebody just need a tap on their shoulder. It is well. Somebody just needs someone to tell the person that, oh, this phase 2 will be over, especially during the first trimester, when there's so much hyperemesis, so much discomfort that you don't know what to do. Sometimes you just need somebody to tell you that, oh, after 3 months, it will subside. After 3 months, you will be okay. But in the absence of all this, and the woman has to face it alone, especially with our adolescents, because I'm an adolescent specialist, especially with our adolescents, whom we always feel like, you like it that way. If you had listened to us, you wouldn't have gotten pregnant at this age. So nobody listens to such people, even at the hospital settings. Nobody listens to them. But if we should listen to them, we should pay attention to their needs. In terms of socioeconomic problems, we cannot do much. We can't be giving them money, but at least we can help them navigate where you are. Can you be selling water on table? Can you do this? At least some 1 or 2 be, and the mothers will be okay. It's just a matter of listening to them. Yeah, so I think during antenatal, we mostly focus on the physical aspect. So the nutritional aspect, preparing for delivery, the things you need, breastfeeding and all that. But at the maternity as a side, or at the maternity settings too, if we have a way of like screening these mothers, and we can do this through the history taking, if we are screening the mothers, at least now, like Madam Sabina said, we have a lot of mental health professionals. If each person should be assigned to a maternity or the antenatal, so that sometimes when you even see the person's facial expressions, you will know that, no, there's something going on. The person's dressing, how the person is dressed, you will even know that, oh, this woman, how can you wear this and that? It can even give you a clue that, no, I should approach this person and find out what could be the problem. Yeah, so if mental health nurses should take it up as we are celebrating Purple Month, not just this Purple Month, but this May and beyond. Take it up, and then every antenatal, we have a mental health professional there who screens these mothers talk to them privately. I think it will help a lot, because the stress, we cannot erase it, but at least we can manage, we can teach these mothers some coping strategies, coping mechanisms to adopt, that they will be able to stay safe even during that stressful period. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. As we're talking, I was just imagining how it would be like being a woman in this state.
Mr. Jones,
Thanks.
please, you said you were just imagining how.
I was just imagining how being a woman would be like. And going through all these stresses when one is pregnant. Thanks for sharing your personal experience with us.
Oh,
Thank God.
I didn't hear what you said. Oh.
In your delivery, you mentioned pre-eclampsia. Will you want to talk a little about that? Maybe some of our audience may not know what pre-eclampsia is. Please, can you hear me? Am I audible, please? Can any other person hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, you are heard.
Okay, I think Madam Linda is unable to hear me. All right, so let me get to Madam Sabina. I don't know if you may want to touch a little on what preeclampsia is for our audience to know what it is, and then I'll move on to a different question after clarifying what preeclampsia is. Thank you. Sabina.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm not a nurse, but then I'll try. So, preeclampsia is usually, in fact, it's a very serious related condition, okay? And then I think it's characterized by high blood pressure and digestional diabetes, okay? Usually, it also involves liver and then the kidneys. It's most of the time happens probably after the 10th or the 20th week of pregnancy, which can also occur shortly after birth. There's a few things I know about it. Usually when pregnant mothers have excessive or high blood pressure and then all that, that's where this experience affects them.
All right, we'll revisit that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Madam Linda, please, are you saying something? Okay, so Sabina, my question to you is, what role do partners and family members play in supporting maternal mental health during pregnancy and postpartum? The role of partners, how do they come in here? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you asked this question, because again, I'm very passionate about this aspect of maternal health. Family members and partners are not just bystanders. They are important people, in fact, key allies in protecting and strengthening maternal mental health. Their supports can actually be the difference between silent suffering and healing. And interestingly, their role is very simple, as a partner, all that is expected of you is to give emotional support. And one may ask, how do I even offer the emotional support? Just offer a listening ear to the woman without judging her. Try as much as possible to validate the mother's feelings and give her reassurance that she is not alone, and it happens to a lot of people. Encouraging her to express herself, how she feels exactly, rather than bottling them up, is all we ask from partners. Again, Practically, partners or family members can help by, supporting the mother with house chores, baby care, and even running errands as well, making sure that our mothers get enough or adequate rest. The fact that she birthed the baby does not mean she's supposed to be 24/7 caring for the baby. At least she needs some time to rest. Make sure partners and family members has to make sure that the mother is eating nutritious food. And one important aspect is that they should make sure that the mother have some time for herself. If you birth a baby, it doesn't mean you cannot have time for yourself. And then also, just by attending appointments or, the antenatal, or yeah, that's how we call it. Or sometimes they have this school, maternity people have these schools they have for mothers after delivery and all that. Just going there with the mother, just for moral support, it's enough. It's enough. This is all we ask for from our partners and from our family members. And it can go a long way to protect the mother's mental health and prevent her from zooming into postpartum depression. Just these little things can groom the woman to the point that, she may even, she will easily forget about the pain, the trauma, whatever she experienced during delivery. After all, when there is depression or stress, it is a release of a hormone, cortisol, stress hormone. How do you get it out of your body? It's just by activating another hormone called oxytocin. How do you do that? Just by letting the woman feel good in herself. Just will simply counteract that hormone, and the woman will be okay. But sometimes it's hard, to get some of these simple supports from our family members and our support. So I don't know. I am very passionate when it comes to some of these things. So I just pray that our audience are listening and then they are taking a cue from what we are sharing. And if they are blessed with the opportunity to father a child or to be a partner to a woman, they should try as much as possible to give these, I always call them minute supports, to the women in order to prevent them from escalating to bigger mental health concerns. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. But let me find out from Madam Linda if you want to add on to how partners can help their wives during this pregnancy journey. Madam Linda, we want to add anything to what? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Like, I agree with what Madam Sabina has said. And then to add up, most hospitals have pregnancy schools. And in these pregnancy schools, sometimes they meet their husbands. The first thing every man should know about how pregnancy affects the woman. Because if you know how pregnancy affects a woman, at least at every stage, you know the help to offer to that person. So talk of the first trimester, the middle, the second trimester, and then the third trimester. If you know that when the woman lies at the back, this is what can happen. Sometimes you will not ask for, excuse me to say, missionary position. That if the woman is not able to do it, you will get angry and say a whole lot of things, get out, go out, come back late, and then that will get the woman thinking and all that. So I think the men should know at every step, every trimester, what goes into it. How do I help this woman? And because of individuality of men, individuality, everybody and how the body adjusts to pregnancy symptoms. Some people can cope, others at every little thing, they need help. So I think that our husbands should know, or the men should know what goes into pregnancy. how it affects the woman physically, how it affects them emotionally, and then psychologically. And then knowing this will guide you on what help to offer to the woman. Sometimes you just wake up and the woman is crying. The man will wake up, why are you crying? What is wrong with you? And then just lie down and sleep. But for all you know, like Madam Sabina said, the stress hormone will just let you wake up middle of the night and you just feel like crying without anybody touching you. But if you have a husband who knows that, oh, these are things that can happen, a woman at this juncture is becomes very emotional, that the little thing this woman can cry, or for no reason the woman can cry. When the man sees the woman in that condition, that man can give the support the person is. So it's not a straight jacket, but we should know at every stage what are the things that can happen. If we know it, then we can provide that support. So again, I throw it to my colleague mental health professionals that we shouldn't only target the women at the antenatal. Not only the women, we shouldn't only target the women. Areas where they are fortunate to have pregnancy schools running, when they invite the husbands, as mental health professionals, let us chip in some of these psychological issues or problems that can affect the mothers, so that they will be like a way or how they will better off help this man, their pregnant women come out of it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So let me ask you this question, Madam Leader. You stay on for. So how does the mother's mental health influence the child's emotional and psychological development?
Thank you very much. I'm very, very particular when it comes to this. You know, the first 1,000 days of a child's life is very, very, very essential. It's very, very important to the development of that child's brain. Whoever that child will be, it depends, let me say, significantly on the first 1,000 days of the child's life. And this starts from utero. They start from the mental well-being of the woman, how the woman takes care of herself during pregnancy. So during pregnancy, when the cortisol hormone, which is a stress hormone, like we said earlier on, it breaks the placenta barrier. It affects the development of the fetal brain. And when it happens like this, it causes emotional dysregulation. It causes emotional dysregulation right from utero. Now, when the baby is born, eye contact is very, very important. Establishing and maintaining good eye contact is important in social skills. It's important in emotional skills. So that is why we always advise the mothers that as you are breastfeeding, you have to look into your child's eyes. You are building eye contact. You are helping the child to know that, oh, okay, so so this is it. So this is my mother. Mother smiles, child smiles. It's a way of bonding. But when there is mental stress or there's any maternal issue, you see a woman breastfeeding and the woman is watching somewhere. Even as the woman is breastfeeding, the woman has frowned her face. Woman is breastfeeding, woman is crying. What are you telling the baby? Because this is the time the neurons are also connecting. So if you are always crying, then it is just the sad aspect of the brain that is always being activated. So when this child grows up, do you expect this child to be lively? No. Because the happy part of the brain is dormant. The child has learned that, oh, always it is crying. Always it is crying. Mothers or parents are the first role model. Hello, please, am I on?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Mothers are or parents, we are the first role models to our children. So if we are We are breastfeeding, we are crying, we look into the child's face, we are crying. Like I said, this is the time the neurons are connecting. That is why stimulation, exposure, nurturing, care, and love are very, very important. But a woman who is not mentally stable cannot offer all this to the baby. If a woman is not mentally stable, cannot offer any good care to the child, cannot offer any good, cannot offer love, cannot offer stimulation. You have to stimulate the brain so that the other neurons will connect. You have to expose the child. But you see these women keeping the babies in the room. Nobody touches the baby. They don't on light. Some will just be in the room off light, no light, nothing. So other parts of the brain, they become just dormant. So when this child is growing up, the child doesn't know anything like happiness. The child doesn't know anything like interaction, social interaction, and all that. All the child knows is the dullness, the bad energy, and all that. So maternal mental health affects, or it plays a significant role in the lives of the babies. It plays a significant role in the lives of the babies. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Linda. And please, let's be reminded that this program is a partnership between the People Wellbeing Show and then the Ghana Psychological Association. It's a program that we bring to you every Sunday. And tonight we have with us Mrs. Sabina Fremah Ansah, a counseling psychologist who works with the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital, and Madam Linda Oboh Nyamekye, who is a child and adolescent mental health nurse specialist who works with the whole teaching hospital. All right, so I'd like to ask Sabina, I want to find out from you, how do cultural beliefs and societal norms affect maternal mental health? And how can practitioners address these challenges? Cultural beliefs and societal norms, how do they affect maternal mental health?
Okay. Thank you very much. Cultural beliefs. It has a lot to do with maternal mental health, in the sense that most of
Please, you are muted, so you have to unmute so we can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was pushing something up. Okay. Hello, can I be heard now?
Yes, please.
Hello, am I audible? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying that indeed, cultural beliefs and some societal norms that have impact on our mental health, in the sense that most of the time there is this belief or ideology, whatever, or there is this standard of who a good mother is supposed to be, you know. And for some, a good mother is supposed to be always happy because you have a baby. A mother should always self-sacrifice for the baby. A mother, should always have the edge. The mother should always, be ready to bond with the baby, because to them, motherhood is a blessing. And anything that is a blessing has no cares, neglecting the other aspects of motherhood that could be affecting the mother. And so this is a huge challenge, So most moms who find themselves in such cultural backgrounds, they are always silenced and go through a lot of guilt and anxieties, and a lot of struggles. Again, society expect that mothers should easily bounce back. They should easily bounce back and not talk about the pain they experience during, delivery or whatever. Because for you to qualify as a mother, you should have gone through the pain without complaining. You should have gone through the maternity and come back without talking about what you saw. And this is killing some women who find themselves in such societies. And as a result, mothers may fear being judged as weak or ungrateful. Yes, because if you have a baby and you are still bothered, you are still not happy, then it means you are ungrateful. I mean, it's just unfortunate. And usually these things happen in communities where, like I said earlier, motherhood is seen as a sacred and a solely joyous role. The fact that you have delivered, that's it. It should be a joyous moment throughout. And these things affect mothers. It spoils them. It makes mothers withdrawn, and you can't talk about them. Again, certain cultural roles also would not let our mothers talk about postpartum depression. Again, because if you should mention that you're going through that,
And now, Sabina, you are muted again. Can you unmute, please?
Oh, so sorry. I don't know what's happening, but I keep pressing
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. So like I was sharing, it looks like most cultures, especially on our part of the world, enjoy motherhood, but then they neglect the emotional or the psychological aspect of it, just as we have been talking about. And so it does really affect the mothers. It makes them withdrawn. It makes them, silence them. They can't talk about what they are going through. They can't share their experiences because society will stigmatize them. Society will say, even if a mother is unable to breastfeed, or probably the mother made choices that I wouldn't want to breastfeed my child, I want to feed or something, with baby food or something, it becomes a challenge because to them, every mother must breastfeed. Whether you have a challenge, you have a difficulty or not, you must breastfeed. So indeed, I mean, our cultural norms does have impact on our mental health. But the question is, how do we break this? Especially in our traditional parlance where it is the norm. I mean, mothers or the traditional birth assistants or whatever, to them, once you have given birth to a baby, it is joy, 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 bounce back, bond with your baby, whether you are able to breastfeed, whether you are able to cope within, yourself, whether you are eating well, whether you are happy, whether you are experiencing baby blue, whether you are going through postpartum. Even to the point where some mothers can experience postpartum psychosis and they will still neglect it and leave mothers to suffer. I have had this experience where a new mother was exhibiting psychotic behaviors where she was totally, she had lost touch with reality entirely. But then the mother kept, hoping and praying that, it's one of those things, As a new mother, you are overwhelmed a bit, or you are surprised that you have another human being coming out of you and all. And they're just saying it like that. So I think that we need to do a lot of advocacy, especially in our local parliament, for our mothers and for our traditional, those who help us deliver traditionally, to understand some of these things, and even families to know that certain cultural practices aren't helping our new mothers, so that we curb this maintenance and then find solution for our mothers. Yeah. So indeed, it does have a lot of impact on mental health. And we need to address it. We need to talk about it. We need to do education, psychoeducation for that matter. We need to go deeper into the hinterlands and let them understand. And having said that, even for those of us in the cities, we also need to, intensify this education at our antenatal and postnatal clinics, so that if you're fortunate that a family member accompanies a patient, they will have some of this education and then know that it doesn't really help our mothers. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And to our audience, in a few minutes, we'll be taking questions. However, you can be putting your questions in the chat box, where I'll read out for our panelists to respond to them. Let me ask Madam Linda, what long-term strategies can be implemented to support maternal mental health beyond the immediate postpartum period? What long-term strategies can be implemented to support maternal mental health beyond the immediate postpartum period?
Thank you, Mr. Jones. So we've said a lot, and it all boils down to strategies, how to help. It is help we need now. Yeah, how to let everybody know that yes, women go through days and they need help. So I think public education, creation awareness is very, very important, because as we speak, when you talk about maternal mental health, somebody will say pregnancy is not a disease. Is psychosocial illness not a disease? Is psychosocial illness not a disease? If somebody
Definitely,
is not
so
stable,
far as
is
you're
it not
not in the right state of reference, you are not well.
Yes, yes, because definition of health says that somebody, you should be mentally, you should be physically, you should be socially, even spiritually. But in our settings, even we health workers, we say it. We will say that pregnancy is not a disease. So if a pregnant woman comes to work and she is moody, she goes to lie down, pray, hey, in charge is on the pregnant woman. Others are on the pregnant woman. Even other colleagues, pregnancy is not a disease. Why are you lying down? It's all because we don't we are not aware. Yeah, we don't know much about maternal mental health. So we think that if the person is going and coming, then it means the person is fine. Or because, like Madam Sabina said, because you have given birth, you shouldn't complain. You have been able to bring forth a child. So that is all. Everything is fine. It's not everybody who gets to, excuse me to say, who gets pregnant, and you are pregnant and you are complaining. So you should just keep quiet. So I think the public should be educated. The public should know that, yes, when women are pregnant, they go through a lot, and they go through psychological, emotional trauma. This can affect their mental well-being. They go through this. So when you see a pregnant woman moody or isolating or withdrawing herself, you shouldn't think that, oh, that's how she is. Everything is all right. Public education is very, very important, especially in our health settings, because even we health workers, we do it more. We health workers, we do it more. You can send an excuse duty and it can be rejected and no, you are fine. What is wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with you. But for all you know, the person is emotionally down. You just need 1 or 2 days to think through 1 or 2 things that is going on in her mind. So the public education is very, very important. The public should be made aware. We should know that this is what is going on. Again, we should empower the women to speak out. We should empower the women to talk about how they feel. How they feel. It is not bad. It is okay to not to be okay. Like we always say, it is okay not to be okay. We all go through situations in one way or the other. So we should empower these women. Like Madam Sabina says, some cultural beliefs state that whatever you go through, you don't let another person hear about it, especially when it has to do with pregnancy and childbirth. You keep it to yourself. But we should let the women know that no, these are the consequences. It can affect you. It can affect the baby. And I think the baby's own is so much important to me, because of what use is it when after carrying pregnancy for a whole 9 months, you give birth, and then because of your mental health at that state, the baby, the outcome wasn't that good, and you will have to carry that burden for the rest of your life. Of what use is it? So we should let them know, especially with our teenage mothers. In recent times, I've realized that a lot of teenagers give birth to preterm babies. Last time, the NICU in charge was telling me that, Linda, you have to talk to our teenage mothers. We have a lot of teenagers giving birth to preterm babies. What is happening? And we know that stress or maternal mental health conditions can lead to giving birth to preterm babies. We know the consequences that surrounds giving birth to preterm babies. These babies are exposed to a whole lot of complications. So what is going on? Last time she called me I think after this discussion, we will have to look into it. What is causing our teenagers to give birth to preterm babies? What is the reason? So we should let them know that no, we should empower the women. If you don't feel okay when you come to the hospital, talk to us. Let somebody know. And then bridging the gap is very, very, very important. Mostly we go to the antenatal to give talks and all that. But we have a new antenatal booklet. We have a column or a space for nutrition where the dietitians write their findings, if you are being referred and all that. I think the book, they should capture mental health. It should be a necessity. When it is like that, we cannot overlook it. But bridging the gap, we saying it and there's nothing to show. I think that is why most of my colleagues and the antenatal to those things are not taken. I don't want to say taken seriously. Yeah, I don't want to use that word, but that is why we are not going by it. But if it is part of the antenatal booklet that you need to be screened for depression, that you need to be screened for anxiety, I think it will then we don't have any excuse not to do it. We don't have any excuse. It is a must for us to do it. So if there is a mental health practitioner there, you know that this is your duty. At the end of the day, you are documenting it here and here. You are documenting, you have a place to document it. And then after, because it is there will be a follow-up, because when the doctor opens, the doctor knows that, oh, okay, so this person is predisposed to depression. Oh, okay, so this person has this background. Okay, then even if there's any discussion we need to make, we should surround it, or we should make the discussion around it so that the person will not be too much anxious. Earlier on, Madam Sabina spoke about at the labor ward, they can just say that, hey, madam, emergency, we have to prepare you for CS. At that stage, what is the mental health of that mother? How would that person take it? Individuality of man. Somebody hearing that will not panic. Oh, okay, CS is nothing. Another person hearing that and the BP has shot to 200, 180 already. How do we intervene now? But if we have earlier on, if we have records of that person that, oh, okay, this person is this, is that, then when in cases like that, we know how to even break news. We know how to even discuss certain emergency situations with the mother. So bridging the gap, I think it's not just about going there. We are talking bridging the gap, bridging the gap. There should be something significant that, oh, okay, this is it. It is part of it. And so we have to do it. We have to do it. So I think like I said, the campaign, it should be loud. The noise should be loud about maternal mental health. And this is the only way that other stakeholders will think about it, that, oh, okay, it is true. This is what is going on. So this is what we have to do. Researches should go on, like I've stated right now, concerning my facility, where we've had a lot of teenagers giving birth to preterm babies. What is the cause? I think at other places, other facilities, if we should all take up this task, that we all want to know the effect of maternal mental health, how it has affected, okay, 10 women with depression, all the 10 women at a point had psychosocial issues. Oh, okay. I think coming up with data, now everything is about data. If we have the data, we will be listening to. Everything is about the data. So we shouldn't only talk, but we, the health practitioners, we should also do, like, collect data. We should go down. Go down to the work. We should try and find evidence. Yes, evidence-based. We should find evidence that because of this and that. So if Afajato is writing, if Kumasi is writing, all other places, health practitioners are coming up with that. This is what maternal mental health is causing. This is what we need to do. We should do it like this, and then our voice will be loud, will be heard. So the campaign should be loud. We should work through how to get evidence, evidence-based. A lot of research should go into it, and then together we will be able to solve this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Together, we'll be able to solve these issues. And I also heard you appealing to our HRs, our administrators. When a pregnant woman is telling you she's stressed out, you should be able to understand. Thank you very much for these words. So on the backdrop of working together, Madam Sabina, are you with us? If you are with
Yes.
us and you can hear me, I want to find out from you, how can collaboration between mental health professionals, obstetricians and pediatricians improve mental health outcomes? Collaboration at the healthcare sector, how can it help to improve mental health outcomes? And I think that will be my last question, so that we can take up questions in the chat, and then people who want to contribute are also allowed to do so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, mental health challenges or mental health concerns require a team, but it's a team or a collaborative effort that is required to treat it holistically and also bring positive outcomes. So indeed, mental health professionals, obstetricians, pediatricians, and all that are needed to resolve mental health challenges. Especially, let's say that a mother right after birth experiences baby. This can be probably assessed by a mental health nurse, make efforts to assist or support the mother to come out of it, but then noticing that her interventions probably might not be giving the outcome that is expected, would quickly refer to see maybe a professional counselor or a clinical psychologist. The clinical psychologist can also do her assessments, give interventions, and probably to resolve the issue. But then the interventions might not also be giving the responses that. So then you see the clinical psychologist referring to probably the psychiatrist. Let me bring in the psychiatrist here, especially because the mother has probably moved out of baby blues to postpartum, probably exhibiting postpartum psychosis. So you see the trend. So then the psychiatrist will take up and then go through another assessment and then give medication if required because they are doctors. So it's important that we work together to bring these positive outcomes. Likewise, for the babies, the same approach can be taken. Since we are not, mental health challenges are not like physical conditions that's, let's say, malaria, that's the doctor will diagnose and say, go to pharmacy and get your medication and it's done. Mental health challenges have to do with moods, hormonal changes, and at every point in time, the condition can manifest in different ways at different points in time. And this requires specific specialists or professionals to assist in managing or mitigating these concerns. So it is important that we all come together as a team, not necessarily being at one point, but then that is why I always tell people that if you are a professional, you should have contact with other professionals. If you are a mental health nurse, have someone who is in the counseling psychologist or the clinical psychology field. Have a contact, have a link with that person, have a link with a psychiatrist, have a link with any other person that might be of help to your work, so that anytime you find yourself in a situation that warrants you to refer, you will find it very easy, and then you will know who to refer to at each point in time. So indeed, for us to get good outcomes from our care, collaboration is the key here. Collaborative efforts, is the key here. It shouldn't be that, you don't know it or you can't handle it. But in my practice, referring a client to another person is one of the easiest things that I do. As soon as you come, I do my checks, I do my assessments, and I notice that this is not in my domain. Referring you to the right person is done easily on my part. So I believe that when we inculcate this into our practice, we have health outcomes are going to be perfect and result-oriented. Yeah, I don't know if Madam Linda would like to add a piece to it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Madam Linda, will you want to add on to that, on the collaborations?
Madam Sabina has said it all. It's
Okay.
a multidisciplinary team, that we all have to look at it. Both the obstetricians, the mental health team, the pediatricians. So Madam Sabina has said it all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be reminded once again that this program is being supported by Great Commission Movement of Ghana, Alpha Wave Consult, and House of EBQ. And this evening, this program is also a collaboration between Purple Wellbeing Show and then the Ghana Psychological Association, specifically the Parallel and Associate Division. I have some questions in the chat box, which I would like to read out to our panelists. Nicholas Banda is asking, I think this is directed to Madam Linda and your previous submission. So Nicholas wants to find out, based on the data collected in your maternity ward, which group shows a higher prevalence of postpartum depression? Is it first-time mothers or those with previous childbirth experience? So which of the
Thank you.
groups experience this thing more?
Thank you very much, Mr. Nicholas. I've not collected data yet, but with the people I have seen, the first-time mothers were topping. Yeah, we had a lot of first-time mothers having challenges after birth. A lot of first-time mothers, yeah, having challenges after birth. Especially, I saw about 3 teenagers, yes, who were all first-time mothers. They all had challenges after birth. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. I think let
Let
me
me
just
add this to it and this.
okay.
I think
Okay.
that you see, mothers who have had children previously and are coming back. You see, sometimes they may also experience postpartum depression again. Even if they did not experience it in their first pregnancy, it is possible they can experience it in their second or subsequent pregnancy because, probably the first childbirth, they may not have gotten the care, the support that they needed, and they have actually struggled and gone through all the, meal to take care of the baby, and boom, they are pregnant again and they are coming. Remind you, we mentioned that, if you have unresolved stress, depression, anxieties, and you get pregnant, it can get worse. So as for the maternity ward, you enter, and if, how do I even say it? Let me say, if God is not on your side, yes, you can come out and experience anything. It doesn't matter whether you are experienced or not. Yes, the experience one might have some experience, such as familiarity, because they have been there, they know what's happening and all that. But then, if there are complications, if they did not receive the care that they needed, they are bound to go through postpartum depression all over again. Or even if they did not experience it the first time, they can experience it this time around. Yeah, so thank you very much.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. And then I think to add a little to that, there are research that also says that with experience, people who experience some of these things or childbirth build some sort of resilience. So sometimes based on the resilience that is built, you realize that some people may not be are not prone to some of the stresses that they come. But however, everyone is at risk, both first timers and then those who have the experience. But the experienced ones sometimes build resilience to some of these things. Yeah, thank you very much. And then the next, still from Nicholas, is asking, are there any correlations between breastfeeding challenges and postpartum depression?
Very, 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 very. When you are stressed up, you realize that you don't lactate. You don't lactate well, but have a peace of mind, have enough rest, and you will see the prolactin working wonders. Because when the stress is there, there are still other hormones which will be competing with the prolactin in the system. So when you are stressed up, and then also because when the mother is stressed up, how to even like the frequency of breastfeeding also reduces. After birth, when you put the baby to the breast, the baby is sucking. That is how the breastfeeding mechanism starts. It pumps, and then the breast milk begins to flow. But when a woman who is not like mentally or psychologically is not stable, you will see that woman even refuses to breastfeed the child. And until you put the baby to breast, most women don't experience the breast flow like that. So normally it is when you put the baby to breast, the baby sucks. When the baby sucks, then it sends signal back to the brain that yes, the baby has sucked. Let the breast milk flow, prolactin, continue, start your work, kaba, 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 hurry up. But in the absence of that, women who are psychologically unstable and all that, most people don't breastfeed frequently. Most people don't breastfeed, and this affects the outflow of breast milk, as well as the cortisol hormones still being in play, competing with the prolactin and all that. You are stressed up, your sleep is disturbed, you are not eating well. All this affects breast milk production, because when you have enough sleep, you rest well, you are eating well, that is when you also get something to bring out. So when you are still having challenges, all this brings about challenges with breast flow, breast flow. Another experience from my side, anytime I give birth, I am alone in whole year. Anytime I say that, oh, me, dear, I don't have breast milk, I never knew it was due to stress. Because when I traveled to Accra, when I left for school, my boy was just 1 year, 2 months. And I had never had breast engorgement until that delivery. I never had it because the breast milk would not even come. So that was where I realized that, hey, so it means because I wasn't having enough sleep, you sleep small, you wake up, you do this, you do that. So it affects, in fact, it really affects. So mostly when I go to maternity, I tell people that stress can let you think that, oh, me, dear, when I give birth, I don't lactate. It's a lie. Have a peace of mind, have enough sleep, rest, eat well, and you will see how you'll be lactating. So yes, maternal postpartum depression or age-related conditions, it affects lactation greatly. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. I think that is a comprehensive response to that question. Our partner to the show, Purple Wellbeing Show, I want to find out, how can first-time mothers manage their mental health issues during, before, and after pregnancy without feeling overwhelmed? Any measures to be considered? Madam Sabina, will you want to respond to this?
Okay, so thank you. First time mothers are always anxious, they want to know what is ahead, they want to know what is happening, what can happen, and all that. So it is always good, like we mentioned earlier on, to know yourself, your personal history, understand who you are. If you have gone through any trauma in your life, if you have had any better experiences, find solutions, seek therapy, and resolve them before you even make the pregnancy decision. And then, when you get pregnant, it is all about, educating yourself, because you don't know what you are experiencing. It is new to you. It is important that you read, if you are able to read, or you learn about the experience you are going through. And then also, it is advisable that you can still go for sessions if you are not too clear about the experiences you are having, especially, the pregnancy complications that can happen, the what are the likely how do I even say it? What are the likely experiences to expect based on the monthly, per month experience you are likely to see and all that during pregnancy. So educate yourself, ask salient questions when you go for the prenatal visits. Ask questions, have engagement with the healthcare providers so that you'll be abreast with what is happening with you. That way, if you have a lot of information about what you are going through, I have friends who actually bought books to read about pregnancy, and so they got a lot of information about what they were experiencing even before they went to delivery stage. And so that can help. And then learn to relax, learn to, live by the day, learn to understand situations easily, and then, simple stress busting strategies like, breathing in and out when feeling anxious. Sometimes, resting, having enough sleep also regulates your moods and your emotions. And again, try as much as possible to have enough sleep. It's very important. And then also when you get to, or after you have delivered, because you have educated yourself, you have navigated all these maternal, you have had these experiences before you got to the state that you are, or before you delivered, it empowers you. It gives you a better understanding of yourself and the situations you might find yourself in. What am I trying to say? This way will help you to speak out, talk to someone. If something is happening, you don't understand, speak out, spill it out. Don't bottle it up. Talk to someone. Try to have understanding, because as you are talking to someone, it releases the pent-up tension in you, and then if you try to have enough sleep or rest, it also regulates you. Your moods very well. So after delivery, you are calm. Though some of these things can happen without your control, they may be out of your control because of these hormonal changes. If you are able to, understand some of these things ahead of time, you go through education ahead of time, you learn ahead of time, it puts you at a good place to seek help, early. The moment you experience something and you know that, no, experiencing this could lead me to postpartum or other mental health conditions that is likely to affect me, let me quickly seek help to resolve it. So it's all about you speaking out, finding solution early on, and getting the support that you need. This way, I don't think you will go through any of the mental health challenges that we have spoken about. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. The next question I have here is from Ibrahim. Ibrahim is asking, is there any support for mothers going through maternal mental health issues? And then what is the best way to handle a child whose mother is having maternal health issues? How can we support them? And then if they are going through this, how can we support or handle the child of this mother? Madam Linda, if you may want to start, and then Sabina will add on.
Okay, thank you. So talking about support for such mothers, yes, most hospitals have a mental health unit attached. Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. So like I was saying, most hospitals have mental health units attached to them. So talking about the mental health issues of the mothers, yes, when a mother has such problem, they can fall on the mental health unit there. The mental health unit there is there for everybody. It's there for all aspects of psychosocial issues, not only people with aggression, people with delusions and hallucinations. Sometimes when people hear mental, the mind goes so far that, oh, mental, excuse me to say, is for mad people. No, mental health unit is for everybody. Is for everybody with mental health issues, psychosocial issues. So when a mother has such problems, he can fall on them. I know most of the district hospitals now have psychologists. Yeah, most of them have psychologists. So you shouldn't just carry your burden alone or be in pain alone. Share with somebody. The unit is there for everybody. When you go, like Madam Sabina said, you go, they assess and they know that, oh, we have to refer you to a psychologist or whatever. The unit will do that. So yes, there's support for them. There's a support. It's just that most women don't seek for this support because sometimes they don't know that the mental health unit serves for that purpose. A lot of people think it's just there for people with aggression and all that. But if you go, you need any help, they are there to be of help to everybody in the hospital. Yeah, and then with the, okay, Madam Sabina will take that. So thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the second part. How do we handle a child whose mother is having maternal mental health issues?
I was expecting Madam Linda to take that since she is into adolescent, but it's
So,
okay.
maybe she will add
Though
on.
it's okay. I mean, I want to add to what she just said. I mean, there are also hotlines and helplines around, okay? So if probably you find yourself in a place where you think you can't walk to any facility to talk, there are helplines. So we have 24/7 crisis line in Ghana here now. And it's simple, 0800 678 678. That's Mental Health Authority's hotline. You call it anytime and someone will pick. Speak to the person. The person will give you guidelines. The person will help you get help. Okay. And then also we have the Ghana Psychological Association's website support. Google it, put in your requests. Somebody will respond and guide you as to how to get help. Okay, again, I think that we have a lot of virtual therapy platforms now in Ghana. You can go online and then find whichever resonates with you, get in touch with them, and you find help. Okay. Let me give you a typical example of therapy sites in Ghana here, so that, or do I have to pay for? So when you go online, you can get platforms.
Madam Sabina, please kindly unmute. Okay.
Yes. Oh my God. I don't know how this is happening. I'm sorry. So I was telling us about the hotlines and the helplines that we have around, that anyone could call for help in case they don't want to walk to any facility. So I was saying that we have crisis line, like a 24/7 helpline now in Ghana here. Mental Health Authority has 0800 678 678. It's simple, 0800 678 678. Call it anytime and someone will respond. And then again, I was saying that you can also visit the Ghana Psychological Association's website support and ask for help. And then someone will respond and direct you as to how to get the needed help. And I was touching on the fact that we also have some virtual therapy platforms in Ghana now. So I was asking if it's okay to mention some of them in case you
yes.
find them. Yes, in
Yes,
case you find them, easily contact them and they can assist you. So we have Aruka Wellness Center, we have Psycho Matters, we have Equilink and all that. So you just Google them and then you find them online. They will assist you. Again, I think you can also check on this. They have Postpartum Support International and then also Mind the Moms. They are apps that can help you with self-support strategies that can help you assist yourself. Okay, they can help you assist yourself. For a child whose mother, is that the question? He said, what is the best way to handle a child whose mother is having mental health challenges? To the best of my knowledge, it is very important to take the child off the mom and support or assist the mother to seek help. But then, if the mother is experiencing postpartum psychosis, where she is experiencing psychotic behavior that will I don't know how to say this. Sometimes some mothers go to the point where they wouldn't want anyone to touch their babies. They wouldn't want anyone for their babies. They prefer to do that, even though they are not doing it well. I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology, but then if it has gotten to that point, seeking support for the mother is key, and finding better ways of taking the baby off the mother is the best way to handle them. Because we need to get the mother's mental health checked first before she can continue care of the baby. So someone who has a good mental health can take the baby and care for the baby whilst the mother is also linked up to care. Very, very important. Yeah.
All
I
right.
hope I have answered you.
Yes. Yes, our time is trying to beat us, but we still have some questions here. So let's take Reverend Joyce want to ask if a newborn mother, I'm sure if a newborn's mother exhibits forgetfulness, what must I do to help her come out of it? So that's forgetfulness postpartum. How can we help a person like that? Madam Linda, will you pick it up?
Yeah.
The mother is
Okay, so
experiencing forgetfulness.
okay. So postpartum comes with not only psychosocial problems, but physical ones and adults as well. So with this, you have to assess. You have to assess, was it true CS? Was it normal delivery? Did something go wrong? Was he given any medication that could contribute to that? So you need to do thorough assessment, probably audiology test and all that, because you have to find out the baseline. If there is no physiological cause to whatever that is happening, if there is no physiological cause, could it be as a result of a trauma, birth trauma, that has made the mother that to exhibit forgetfulness after delivery? So after the assessment, that is when you will know which or what to do. After the assessment, if whether it was due to birth trauma, the mother experienced a traumatic birth that he feels like, no, let me just forget about everything that happened. So the situation of the mother will tell us what to do, the situation of the mother. So with this, thorough assessment is needed. Or was it due to a medication that was given, or will she need any audiology test to find out what is going on? So after all this, when all this baseline assessment is done, then we know that, oh, okay, maybe it was due to birth trauma. Mother, the delivery is over. So now we have to look at is it cognitive behavioral therapy or other therapies to bring the mother back, that no, delivery is over. You have to come out of the forgetfulness. Yes, you have to face reality. This is what has happened. Sometimes people might exhibit this after they've lost the child, or when something has happened. Yeah, so we need a thorough assessment, and based on that, you know which one to do for such a mother. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
I hope,
yes.
Mr. Jones, I hope I answered Reverend's question. So if Reverend can, if not because of time, even if he can write, throw more light on what could happen to, or what could be the issue with this mother, so that at least we will know how to handle it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, let me quickly chip in this as well. I think that like you rightly said, there could be an underlying condition. I recently handled a client who said she lost someone, probably some 2 years back, but then she happens to still have the she probably, she's still grieving over the death of the friend. But then a few days after our session, I was informed that she has had crisis. I said, what crisis? Apparently, she was on medication and she was not taking it well, and she has just, lost her memory from like 3 to 4 years back, just like that. She can't remember anything, to the point of even me, she cannot even remember me. So what am I trying to bring along? I'm trying to say that sometimes for this person, she might have an underlying condition and she's probably not taking care of herself or not adhering. So indeed, further assessments and then further engagement would actually bring the story out clearly, and then we'll find solutions to the forgetfulness. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. There is this contribution from Madam Gloria Faustina Emisa. Okay, I think with Faustina's question has been answered. That's with the mental health issues and its effect on breast milk. I think there's a response that yes, there is a correlation between the two. Gloria, yeah, Duametu said, I think a lot of education can help because most of these are attributed to evil spirits trying to destroy pregnant women and their babies. Briefly, maybe can we talk a little about this issue of spirituality and how it affects maternal mental health? And then from there, you add your last words to your contribution. Let me start from Sabina. Spirituality.
Spirituality, it's a very dicey thing. So you need to be a bit cautious. Indeed, most people in the faith-based society will attribute all or some of the things that we have discussed here to spirituality. They believe that probably anything out of the ordinary is being done by the devil. And so seeking the right support or seeking the medical attention is out of the story. If you remember, I think in our initial submission, we mentioned that, our traditional mothers and then our people from our hinterlands do believe in the fact that if you give birth, it's supposed to be a happy moment because you have, brought out a new life out of you. And what else is there again to worry about? And so the moment they see the mother, behaving in a different way, the moment you see the mother, experiencing severe emotional, irregularity, they tend to associate it with spiritism. They think, oh, the devil has risen against their daughter and want to kill their daughter. That is one thing that I saw when we visited a village, and then they had actually chained this young woman who has a baby. When we asked why, they said sometimes she make noise in the night, she cut herself, she wouldn't let them sleep, and so they brought her to the Okonfo or whatever, the traditionalists in the community to cure her. And we're like, really? They said yes. And that's no member of the family has ever experienced this before. And so it's because of her, behavior that has brought this up on her. It was a big thing. We had to talk, educate them a lot. I don't even remember them, we didn't even settle on that matter. And we had to leave with the hope that maybe someday when they sleep, what we told them will resonate and then maybe understand what we meant to tell them. So indeed, most people in this day and age still believe that some of these mental health illnesses or challenges are, spiritual based. And instead of going to the hospitals or seeking for help from the mental health experts, they will rather go to the Drura or the traditionalists for support. And at the end of the day, it worsens the condition of the mother or whoever is involved. Sometimes by the time help goes to that person, it's too late. It's too late. And we don't know who to blame for some of these things anyway. So, Madam, is it Gloria? Yeah. Thank you very much for bringing this up. a lot of education is in fact, indeed, is needed to help along these lines. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Sabina. Madam Linda, will you want to add your words and that to be your final words as well?
Oh, okay. I didn't add my final words. Maybe I'll come back later.
Yes. Auntie Linda, are you there?
I'm here. Sorry, I'm here. My network dropped. Sorry.
Yes, you are on now.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. So we are still on the spirituality, right?
Yes, if you have anything to add, and then then you also give us your final words to the whole program.
Oh, okay. I think I'm so much impressed with the program outline and then everything. Maternal mental health is a silent emotional killer in our women, especially our pregnant women. And I think it's something we should look at. I think it's something that if we will fully achieve what we want as mental health practitioners, since we are into the emotional needs of the mothers and we know how it affects them, then like I said earlier, we have to start showing work. Yes, we have to start showing working. We have to gather evidence. It's evidence-based nursing now. Everything is evidence-based. When we have data, we present data. This is what is going on. I think we will be heard of and something will be done about it so that it will not just be a saying like, oh, pregnancy is not a sickness. Then the woman is dying inside. Pregnancy is not a sickness. Before you realize the woman is dead out of preeclampsia, out of GDM and other related conditions. So I think that we should make a lot of noise, not just noise, but we should let our voices be heard. Like the theme for this year's performance, our voice matters. Yes, our voice matters. So we should let our voices be heard. Let's keep on advocating. Let's keep on creating awareness. And then I know gradually, people will come to hear of and understand what maternal mental health is. And it will be something we will all achieve and be glad that, oh, yes, we all did it. Initially, it was something we were not talking about, but now everybody is talking about it. I think it will be a great achievement to all of us. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you to our audience for listening and then contributing. Thank you, my co-colleague, Madam Sabina, and then to my host, Mr. Jones. Thank you all.
Thank you so much to
Okay.
you as well. Sabina, your final words.
Yes. I think Madam Linda has done a great job too. I think that I want to say that motherhood is a major transformation. Okay. And it's not just physically, but emotionally. We need to understand that. And so I would plead that we normalize asking for help. We should try as much as possible in our own small ways to normalize it. Asking for help should not be a big deal. Asking for help is strength, it's not a weakness. Again, offering help should also be normalized. If you are offering help to someone with mental health condition, it should be as easy and as simple as possible. We should make the mental health, we should make it a part of the maternity journey. And we have spoken at length with it that now the maternity schools and the maternity clinics, they are trying, but they are doing their best, but we need to do more. We should inculcate mental health in the maternity journey because, for this presentation, I have, I knew quite a number of things about them, but in my readings, it has really opened me up to a lot. In fact, if we had enough time, a lot would have gone on here. But it looks like women are really going through a lot of mental health challenges before, during, and the key one is during labor. And no one is talking about it. Okay, so please, let us all put our hands on deck and make mental health a part of the maternity journey. It should never be an afterthought. It should not be an afterthought. It should not. I thank you all, and I am so glad that I was part of this. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you so much. And we are glad to have you on the program. Personally, I'm much impressed, and I want to thank the two of you, Madam Linda Oboh Nyamekye, child and adolescent mental health nurse specialist at the Whole Teaching Hospital, for spending more than 2 hours with us. I know how busy you can be, especially around this time, but you had the time for us. We are most grateful, and we look forward to more of such interactions as well. And Madam Sabina, my personal person, who is a
I like
counseling
it.
psychologist at the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital. Thank you so much for making time with us this evening and sharing those in-depth knowledge with us. And to our audience, in fact, you've done so well, more than 2 hours on this call. Uh, Thank you so much. At a point, we recorded 57, and I know
Yeah.
that time has gone, so it's understandable some people fall out. But we are so much grateful for your presence and your participation. We couldn't take direct questions because of our time, but we hoping next time we'll open the questions early enough. And let's also be reminded that this is a Purple Wellbeing show in collaboration with Ghana Psychological Association, bringing you this program. And we are being supported by Great Commission Movement of Ghana, Alpha Wave Consult, and House of EBQ. Next week, we'll also be with you, same time, 7 p.m. We are going to talk about addiction, drug addiction. And we'll be having one of our national executive members of the Ghana Psychological Association coming to share some in-depth knowledge with us on addiction. So we're hoping to see you all again on the show. And to our partner and the main head of the Purple Wellbeing Show, Amma Nkrumah, thank you so much for always giving us opportunity to share knowledge with our people. And I said, God bless you and do have a good night. Bye. My name is Jones Tagbor.
Good night, Jones. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.